Hello, 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 everyone. Let's see who is joining us today. Okay, let's see. Are we live? It appears we are. Make sure I have that turned down. Okay. All right. It looks like we are officially live. Let's see who is going to join us. And in the meantime, I'm going to do a quick share with my groups. Groups. VIP. Oop, and creative hearts. Okay, we are all shared out, and I think we're good. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining. When you pop on, go ahead and say hello so that I know you are here. And I think we're ready to go. All right. So today we are going to be focusing on creating backgrounds. We will be doing that with using some masking paper and doing some blending and shading with our ink pads and using our blending brushes. So these will be one of the things that we use to create some really cool backgrounds for our cards. Okay, see a few of you popping on here. Go ahead and say hello so we know who's here. And we'll go ahead and do our housekeeping. So I'm going to switch to here we go. All right. So new Paper Pumpkin subscription period is open. Now we are on to all the little things. This is going to be a cute kit. This is going to make 9 cards, 3 each of 3 designs. Of course, you'll get your 9 matching envelopes. You're going to get iridescent foil die cuts, 1 shaded spruce ink spot, and 1 photopolymer stamp set. The really cool thing about this kit is it is going to include a free box organizer. So it's going to have, I don't know if you can see here. Hello, Arlene. Hello, Sue. So glad you could join me. It's going to have these little cardboard inserts that are going to make perfect. So if you started collecting your ink spots, now you're going to have a nice place to store them in your box. Once you remove all of your card making contents from there, you're going to put this little insert in, and now you can start stacking in your ink spots. So it'll make a perfect little container for that. Hey, Deb, glad you could join us. So I thought that was really good. Cute. So from now until April 10th, you can start subscribing to get in on this particular kit. You can obtain this through a recurring subscription. You could do a 1 month, 3 month, 6 month, or 12-month prepaid subscription. So again, multiple ways to subscribe to Paper Pumpkin. A great way to start collecting supplies, so on and so forth. March tutorial bundle. This is now available in my online store. This is our biggest tutorial bundle yet. I did not participate January and February because life just got a little bit hectic and out of control. So I didn't have any to share with you then. But March, I was able to get in on. And this is the biggest tutorial bundle to date. This one has 47 projects, and there's actually a 48th bonus project. And how you get your hands on this tutorial bundle is if you're a member of my team, you'll automatically get it. I'll be sending out the email later this week with a link for you to go ahead and download the tutorial bundle. And this is one of the best tutorial bundles I've seen yet. 48 different demonstrators participated, 48 amazing projects, to include some 3D projects in here. Like there's boxes, there's a windsock, there's all kinds of things going on in here. So this bundle is the best I've seen. So if you're a member of my team, you automatically get it. You can also place a $50 order in my online store and you will automatically get it free, or you can purchase it through my online store, through my blog. You'll see that there's a tab there for tutorials, and it's $20 for the tutorial there. Okay. So that is pretty cool. Anyway, Then there's the online exclusives. That is a lots of fun product. The only way to see those really is to go to the online store. You click on the online exclusives and you scroll through those. There's some really amazing bundles. Some dies. There's these stitched dies. There's these little fun border dies. All kinds of cool stuff. So that is something new that Stampin' Up! Has started. Then in addition, in those online exclusives, you'll find some kits. We do have many different kits that have been released. And again, kits are really fun because they're easy, quick, and if you don't have a lot of supplies or you're not ready to invest in a lot of supplies, those are a great way to get started. All right, so tonight's projects, like I said, we are doing some masking to create some fun backgrounds, and here are the cards we're going to make tonight. So we're using 3 different stamp sets and 3 different masking ways of doing it. So we have here an oval, we did a circle with some color, and then this time here we actually did our color on the outside to mask off our center. So I want to show you how I did all 3 of these cards. Again, quick and simple, but they do pack a little bit of a punch. All right, so the first one I am using for all of these projects, I'm using the Stampin' Up! Masking paper. It does come in 5x7 sheets. You get 12 sheets in a package, and there is a split down the center, and I do cut my masks. I try to keep them in the center here the best I can so that it is easy to remove the paper backing, and you'll see how I did that. So the first one we're doing uses the Cottage Rose stamp set. And for that, we do have a basic gray card base here. What did I do? There it is. I have my bone folder here. So I have basic gray cut 11 by 4 1/4, and it's scored at 5 1/2. So we're going to go ahead. Then I have a piece of smoky slate. This measures 4 by 5 1/4. Another basic gray that measures 3 3/4 by 5. And a piece of basic white. This measures 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. Then I have a mask that I did. I've already got this cut, and we're just going to reuse it. When I create a mask, I'll usually stick it, especially if it's specific to a stamp set. I'll put it right in the stamp case, but in this case, I just happen to store it on the back of here. But I will find a place to store this so I don't have to create it over and over and over again. So we're going to put all that aside, and we're just going to find, to the best of our ability, the center of our card. So I'm just going to set. Whoop. This is quite sticky. Let's pull that up. Oop. Well, I just broke my, or tore my. You can use them over and over if you're gentle. I'm not being gentle. Let's see if I can't get this better centered. Okay. There we go. That's not too awful bad. Not perfect, but it's not bad. I got my blending brush, and I'm using Pale Papaya ink. We're going to ink up our blending brush. And we're just going to go ahead and bring that color in. And just keep applying color and keep layering until you're happy with the results you're getting. I always like to start off my project and bring it in. That does help prevent any um, globbing, I guess you could say, of the color, because it's definitely easier to add color than it is to remove color. So you just want to just keep adding it. Until you have the desired effect. And I think that looks good. So I'm going to go ahead, set that aside, close up this here ink pad. Now we're going to carefully remove our mask here. And because this is really sticky, you do want to be careful with this masking paper because it will tear your cardstock if you're not careful. Just like right there. I'm starting. You just want to go slow. Okay, that. There we go. That was actually paper. Peel that off. And like I said, you just want to be nice and slow and gentle. I'm just gonna put that. Just gonna put this on my case here so I can use it again. Okay, so there's our little oval. Now I have my basic gray ink pad. I have my Cottage Rose stamp. I'm going to go ahead and ink this up. I kept these cards super simple because sometimes super simple is all we need. So there's our Cottage Rose. Now I'm just going to go ahead and I think right about there looks good. Make sure we get good contact so the ink all transfers. Just like so. Okay. Then I have a sentiment from that same stamp set that says happy birthday. We're going to go ahead and ink that up also in basic gray. And down here in the right lower corner, we're going to say happy birthday. All right, so now we can go ahead and start putting our layers together. So we have our basic white, which is going to layer onto our basic gray. Oops. Let's try it that way. Make sure I'm in here so you can see what I'm doing. So we're just going to layer those together. That's going to now layer onto our smoky slate. Yeah, I didn't even use any dimensionals today, if you can believe that. And normally I pop everything up. Where these cards, I kept them completely flat. So these are going to be easy to mail, totally flat, but still really pretty. All right, and now this goes right on to our card base. And you're definitely going to want to add a basic white panel to the inside of this dark basic gray card base, but I did not cut that for tonight. I will finish these cards another time, but there is card number 1 already done. Just like that. But all I did was I cut a piece of this masking paper. I used my oval, and I used the, oh, let me tell you the name of the dies that I used to cut them out. Oh goodness. I used the framed florets to cut that shape out. And it was this die here that I used to make that cut. Okay. So that's how I got the oval shape for that mask. Okay. So that's card number 1 all set. Now we'll move on to card number 2. Now this one is kind of a little bit of a sunset look in the background on a basic black card base. So what we have here is another card base. This time it's basic black. This is 4 1/4 by 11. I have it scored at 5 1/2. So we're going to go ahead, fold on that score line, furnish that with our bone folder. I have 2 panels of basic white, 4 inches by 4 1/4, or 4 inches by 5 1/4. Ooh. So one for the inside. So we're going to go ahead and add that right now. So that goes inside of our card. Now, if you'd like to receive these cards in the mail, the card kits, you can get these free with a $35 purchase in my online store using the current host code, which you'll see at the bottom of the screen, HXSPC3E6. And then I will send you these card kits in the mail so that you could try your hand at these with your own product. Be kind of fun. So for this particular card, we're using out of the annual catalog. This is the Botanical Layers stamp set. We're using this particular image right here. But first we need to do our background. So I have here a piece of that masking paper that I went ahead and I did die cut a circle from. This time I only pulled half of the paper off because I found it was just easier to, because I cut this masking paper to 5 1/4 by 4. So it's just like that. And you can see I cut this so that this was still in the center, the split in the paper. And I only did one side, like I said, and then I can just take this masking paper, line it up on my piece here that I'm going to be masking. There we go. Get that down nice. And now this side, I just hold it down with my fingers. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in that pale papaya again. So I'm going to grab that pale papaya and starting off, we're going to go ahead and start bringing that color onto our project. And I kind of did it at a little bit of an angle. Okay. Close that up. And the next color we're going to bring in is the polished pink. Polished pink and the pale papaya are part of the outgoing colors of our in colors. All right, let's come off our paper here and bring our color in. And you're going to bring that right up to that pale papaya and kind of blend them together. So that looks pretty good. Hey, Miss Betty, glad to see you pop on. Oh, now you're on Facebook. Okay. Hey, Barb found us. Okay, lovely. Hey, Sherry, thanks for joining. All right. So those are our two blending colors. We use pale papaya and polished pink. Next, we're going to go ahead and we're going to pull away our mask. We want to make sure we save this mask because we're going to use it again in our next project, and you'll see. So we're just going to gingerly remove that. There we go. So there's our, let's see, where can we put it on here for now. Okay, so now we're going to bring in our little piece here in our sentiment, as well as our Memento black ink. So we're going to start with our sentiment, because that's going to go down here in the right handed little corner here. So we're going to go ahead and ink up Thinking of You. And the sentiment comes from the same botanical stamp set the image comes from. So we're going to go ahead and stamp that there. Thinking of You. Next, we're going to take that Memento black ink pad and we're going to go ahead and ink up our image here. Make sure it's really good and inked. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to stamp this into our circle, just like that. Make sure you get good contact so all that color goes ahead and transfers. This would actually be a good one to do on your Stamparatus because you may, if you really want a nice, crisp, dark black image, this would be a great time to use your Stamparatus so that you could stamp it a few times. But that is not bad, and I'm very happy with that color transfer. So again, super simple, not a ton of layers. We're just going to go ahead. This just goes right onto our card base. Like so. Oop. And of course, I got ink smears because I didn't let this dry long enough. It's one thing about the basic white. There is a little bit of like a sheen or coating, it seems like, on the paper. So the black ink does tend to smear a little bit if you don't give it a minute to dry. And you can see that's what happened there, but I'll fix that. But there you go. That is card number 2. All right, ladies, we're already moving on to card number 3. This card class is going really fast. But quick cards are always the best, especially when you can get them to come out really pretty. All right, next card. This is our beauty. There is beauty in everything. So this one, we did a couple of different steps in this one. So this one takes a little bit more time, but I think it packs a little bit of an extra punch to it. So what we got here is we have a Starry Night card base. This is 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. I'm going to go ahead and fold on that score line. Then we have a piece of basic white. This measures 4 by 5 1/4 for the inside. We also have a piece of Tahitian Tide, also 4 by 5 1/4. Then I have another basic white. This is 3 3/4 by 5. And that's what we're going to do our stamping on. So we're going to go ahead and put our inside panel in. So we'll just go ahead, put that in there for like so. There we go. Close that up, set it aside. Next, we're going to bring in our basic white panel. And the first thing we're going to do is, when I die cut this here mask, I did save the inside circle that I did die cut that from. I used the layering circles to cut that. And this is what we have. So we have our little circle here. And I'm going to put this up towards the top a little bit. That's probably not very centered. Let's try repositioning that. Again, being gentle, pulling that up. There we go. Let's see if we can't get this a little bit better centered. There we go. That's better, I think, a little bit. All right, there we go. So next I have another blending brush. I'm going to bring in Starry Sky ink. And you know what? I probably ought to. Let me find. I had a scrap paper here. There we go. Just so we don't make a mess. Okay. So we're going to bring in some of that Starry Sky ink. And again, starting off on some scrap, I'm going to go ahead and bring it in. You're just going to keep applying our layers. Who else loves to play in the ink? Can't just be me. So again, just keep coming in with extra layers until you get the desired color that you're looking for. Because again, easier to add than it is to take away. Sherry, you like to play with ink? I love to play with ink. This is probably one of my favorite techniques, honestly, just because I love adding the layers of color and I love the effect you get from it. Sue likes to play with the color too. Good. Glad I'm not alone. Okay, so there's our Starry Sky. So I'm going to go ahead and set those there. Next, we're going to bring in our Tahitian Tide. So here's the Tahitian Tide. I'm going to go ahead and flip my card base around, or card panel around. So now I have another blending brush. And we're going to bring in the Tahitian Tide. And again, just same way. I'm going to probably move this to a little bit of a cleaner. Well, you know what? Let's flip this around so we don't drag in the Starry Sky. So coming off our paper and bringing it on just like we did. We're adding our Tahitian Tide color. So again, off, drag it in, and blend. Just like that. So there we have our piece here like so. That out of the way. Now we're going to go ahead and pull away gently our mask. Just like that. So now you have a nice clean center there. We want to make sure we keep it nice and clean, and we also want to be able to put some images in there, but we don't want to spread those images around. So now we're going to bring back this mask that we used earlier on our previous card, and we're going to go ahead and mask off the remaining colored cardstock so that we can do our images. It is the exact same. I just got to get it lined up here. There we go. Maybe. I think my mask is getting stretched a little bit, but that's okay. We're going to make it work. Okay. Get it down. All right. Next up, we need Starry Sky. We are using the Simply Fabulous stamp set. This is also found in the annual catalog. And the sentiment is there is beauty in everything. So we're going to go ahead and ink that up in our Starry Sky. And we're going to go right towards the top of our circle here. There is beauty in everything. So next we have a couple of flowers. We have a flower center and leaves. So we're going to close up the Starry Sky and we're bringing in, where did I put it? There it is. Oh, polished pink. So now we're going to take our one flower and again, just going off. Let's see. Right about there. And that one went there. And there. And we'll use this flower. And that one just kind of sneaks in there. That one there. And that should do it. Close up the polished pink. Then we're going to use Parakeet Party. And we're going to do our centers. And those should be good. And same thing, Parakeet Party with our leaves. And we're just going to go ahead and sneak some leaves in here. Maybe I'll just do it right there. And maybe we'll do one. I guess that'll be good. Don't want to get too crazy here. Okay. So that's our stamping. So now we can go ahead and remove our mask. Just like that. Ooh, I see we made our sentiment just a smidge crooked, but it'll work. It will work. All right, so now we're just going to add that to our Tahitian Tide panel. So we're going to go ahead. Hey, Robin. No worries. That is why we have replay. Oop, get this centered correctly. There we go. Me too, Lori. I love this technique as well. And it's one of the ones, though, that you kind of tend to forget about, I guess you could say, because you get involved in doing all the other stuff. But it's so simple, yet so cute. Well, you can have cute, you can have elegant. Like this one kind of falls into that cutesy. The This one here, I think, falls more into your beauty. So it runs the gamut. That's what I think I love about this technique is you can make it work for anything. All right, so now I have some baker's twine. I'm using the white from the Essentials. Yes, this is the Essentials pack. It has all your basic colors. And we're just going to wrap it around like 3 or 4 times here. So I'm going to bring in here. I got 1, 2, and yeah, 3 times. 3 times. And we're just going to tie this into a bow. If my fingers will cooperate. And guess what I did not bring over here with me? I didn't bring my tweezers. So we're going to have to do this old school. Ha! Did it. Who knew? I still have it in me to do it without tweezers. I don't like to do it without tweezers, but I can do it. Thanks, Sherry. That was worthy of a congratulations for sure. All right, so now we're just gonna fuss with this a little bit. Okay, now we're just gonna trim those little tails like so. All right, easy peasy. Now we're just gonna add our adhesive. And we ran out of adhesive just in the nick of time. So now we're going to go ahead and add this to our card base. Just like that. And boom, card number 3 is done. And look at that, 43 minutes, start to finish, 3 cards. So we have our there's beauty in everything. We have thinking of you and a happy birthday. Thanks, Deb. Like I said, what I think I like about these is it does use a lot of simple product. It doesn't take a lot of fancy anything other than to create the masks themselves. There's no die cutting. Not a lot of little finicky pieces to play with. It's just literally laying some color onto your cardstock, stamping your images, no fancy coloring. No problem, Robin. That's what the replay is for sure. Thanks, Barb. I'm glad you like him. But like you said, it's all about simplicity and not having to have a whole lot of product to create really fun yet pretty cards. Um, it keeps it simple. You are welcome, Miss Lori. Again, I appreciate you guys coming to hang out with me, and I'm glad you enjoyed them. Like I said, I my goal was simplicity, and sharing an easy way to make some fun backgrounds for your cards. And you can take this and go beyond this. I mean, without even masking, you can just use your blending brushes and some ink, and you can create beautiful sunsets and all kinds of pretty backgrounds just using your inks and some blending brushes. You are so welcome, Miss Betty. You're welcome, Barb. Now, I hope that inspires you to pull out your blending brushes, some masks, and go to town. I'd love to see some backgrounds that you guys create with this. And like I said, I will send out free card kits to anyone who places a $35 order in my online store using the current host code, which is located down below here on the screen. $35, and I will send these out. $50, you'll not only get these card kits, but you'll also get the 48 tutorials from the March tutorial bundle. That will also be available in my online store. Okay, guys, again, thank you so much for coming to hang out with me. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your evening and an even better week ahead. Bless you all, and thanks again for hanging out. Bye for now.